Oh, yeah, we back, yo.
I don't know what happened. My bad, bro.
No worries. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think, honestly, I think, you're on the cutting edge of all this, bro. I think me and you are on a similar wave, but we're always kind of thinking like, what's next?
Hmm.
What else can we do to expand what we already do? And I think these art forms that we're playing with, like, there's definitely ways to combine them in super dope ways.
Hmm.
And the cool part about it is like you could take, like, with me and you're learning poppin' and I'm learning crump. They're gonna come out so different, you
Right.
know.
Facts.
Yeah, that's gonna be so dope to see, like it's gonna be real interesting, man, because even if you took those two styles and melded them, but you're taking people from like two different foundations, that your approach is gonna be completely different. You could go like more crump dominant and then just sprinkle popping in,
Right.
or once you get better at popping, you can just go popping and sprinkle crump in, and it's
Right.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah, man.
The
It's gonna be
sprinkles,
crazy.
bro.
And
Sprinkles, man.
I think one of my goals is maybe not now, but in the near future, is to like really dive into like another culture. So either pop in or house, but really like dive into battle, just strictly popping, entering
Mm.
tournaments and
Have you
stuff.
played with house at all yet?
I have. Me and Tony Ray have been like talking and stuff, and that was one of the styles I always loved like for a while. But yeah, I never had a chance to really like dive into it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man. I started learning. I started learning it, bro, and I actually really didn't like house music at all before.
really?
Yeah, I really didn't like house music. Like it put me to sleep every time, bro. Every time. Like the thing was, is like poppers that I would chill with, or whether a lot of my friends are house heads too, because like I was dabbling in Smurf. Yeah, see
See?
Smurf. You got J5. Everybody be like these guys are dope poppers, but they also love house. So like for me, I would be it was a struggle for me, and part of that was my lack of rhythm,
Mm,
um, and understanding of rhythm, and also understanding the production of house. So
mm,
my understanding of the culture was really face value, and I just heard this kind of us. And
right.
what really got me into dance to begin with was like blues and
Mm,
Motown. So all those
mm,
little ad libs of R&B and like these riffs that they were playing on the guitar was the things that would make me go into that flow state. So when I heard
mm.
like a repetitive rhythm, I felt no play.
Yeah.
Um, but then when I started to uncover, like I started to practice rhythm, like just tapping on the table, and then I got a djembe, So then it was
Mm,
like, oh shit, now I could just practice the drums with my feet.
right. Right.
So
Right.
creating rhythms and shit, and I was like, "Yo, this is mad fun." And meanwhile, I've been running miles up and down the fucking street and the hills and shit. I'm like, why don't you like just do this with dance?
Right.
So then it became practical and fun. So
Yeah.
yeah. So with house, like when you look at popping in house, do you feel like what culture what attracts you to those cultures if you've dabbled in either of them, like what is appealing about them?
For sure, it's the music, man. Like I love like how popping music. Like when I enter all style tournaments, yeah, if I get a house track or a popping track, like it's my favorite. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just always love the music and just watching it from the outside, but then like listening to it too. Like it really makes sense like why the movements are the movements to the certain type of music. So it
Mm.
really makes sense, man, because I'm a big music head. Like I play instruments, like I play guitar, drums, I play
Oh man.
hella instruments, bro, and growing up. So yeah, that's why music hits me a bit different. So yeah, it's the music first, and then when I just started to meet like people in the culture, they were just hella dope, man. Because I grew up in that mentality, like everyone versus Krump. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a while to kind of like be friends with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, damn, like we gotta take that stand that like we're no pushovers, or like we're a big dog in dance too. So now that I think we're, you know what I mean, like we have that understanding of each other's cultures, then we kind of calmed down and just like got to know each other. So yeah, first it was music, then the people, just all the dancers, man, and any dance scenes is just so dope. Um, yeah, we're really a special type of people. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. I think like it's weird to say, but I I don't know if it's whether I can relate to dancers better, right? Or the fact that there's a certain type of person that's attracted to movement
Mm,
um and music. There's like a certain sensitivity or maybe a more empathy that's involved too.
mm,
Um and yeah, man, I totally feel you when you come into the world. Like I came into the popping world, there was a lot of drama, uh,
mm.
a lot of drama, a lot of politics. So it was kind of choosing sides, and it was yeah, it was tough. And I even remember when I was like, I think what was it, 2013 or 14, when I was going to Cal State Northridge, and went up to the Porter Ranch House with the IME crew, and
Mm.
then like Eyez and Concrete were over there, and B
Yeah.
Dash, and then uh, I remember like I was like kicking it in I was pretty quiet, so I just say what's up, and like we were just labbing and stuff, and I was showing B Dash some robot stuff, and then that I remember seeing them like at Avalon, and it was probably like a couple weeks later or something, or a month later, and I pull up,
Mm.
and I'm like, "Yo, what's good, y'all?" Like, and they were just like, and I was like, "Damn, what the fuck?" I felt so out, like I was like, "Damn, bro, okay, maybe it's not like that, But I felt like I mean, I probably told you this before, but like when I was first exposed to the Krump scene in like 2007 or 8, I went to a Krump battle in Riverside, and
Mm.
Outrage and Ruin were there, and like it was just a really, really weird vibe,
Mm.
Uh, kind of like b-boy mentality, but it was also like a church. So
Mm.
it's like, wait,
Right.
so you walk into a church and everybody's like mad dog,
Right.
down and shit. I was like, okay, like then they paused the battles, which were like, mad aggressive and shit, and then they pull up with a Bible verse in between
Yeah.
and like bow your heads, and then they put on the Krump music, and I was like, what the hell I walk into, man? I was like, I think I'm good on this.
Uh,
So it's cool to see it change though, like
yeah.
it's definitely more welcoming now. And
Yeah.
and that's partly because of you too, man. Like you're responsible for that. You're opening it up for more people, I think.
Oh man, that means a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Those times were, it was a battle externally and internally too. So yeah, man. It had a lot of good intentions though. I think that's something that we can't like we have to remember that it was always good intentions. But again, man, it's just kids doing stuff that they don't understand, or like no one was really guiding them how to lead a movement or how to lead people. So but yeah, those times were hella fun, man. Yeah, we weren't as welcoming as before, because yeah, we wanted to solidify ourselves and as a dance style, and really like whoever was out of this dance style, like tell them how great we are, tell them like how buff we
Yeah.
are, type of thing. And then internally, like Krump was like a lot of religion based. So and the leaders of that was influencing our leaders, and some of their leaders, or that those leaders weren't the best for us. So um yeah, I really commend like the leaders in the movement now to like clean it up, to admit to their faults. And I think that's really a grown-up thing to do, you know, and continue the movement. As you see now that a lot of people can just basically come in, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, if you weren't if you weren't like, you know, following us or following God type of thing, like you would get hacked out.
For real, man. I was like, damn. Oh man, I was not having it, man. When I was looking for a community too, I was like just coming out of religion, like really strict upbringing in religion. So I was like, this is definitely like I love the movement, but
Yeah.
like I don't know where y'all are at, you know. So
Yeah, yeah,
um, so now it's kind of like, yeah, it's cool that it's opened up to the world basically. And I think that's something that I'm so fascinated by in general is like how dance has transcended so much, you know, whether it's race, whether it's, you know, just borders, like country borders, you know, there's not much money in this thing. And despite that, it's been contagious across the world. That's the real pandemic, yo. It's like, yo, dance is viral, man, and
right.
that's something that's I don't think many other businesses. There's more. I bet you there's more like there's probably more poppers throughout or in more countries than there is Amazon, right? Like Amazon hasn't even got to all the countries that dance has gotten to, you know,
Right,
street
right.
dance. So Krump is probably right up there too, man. Krump is everywhere now.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy, man. And I feel like it's going through like a second wave of it being mainstream again, you know, and that's it deals with people like you guys, like you, people that's open or that came into the culture, like you, Yaya, Far Side, you know, and helping us transcend and like meet other people. That's how, like, you know, like, and people like from us going out there like Concrete, B Dash and stuff. So I feel like it's a second wave of it being mainstream again, and it's just dope to watch it all unfold. And even battle scene wise, like when Todd Eyes and Miho was in the finals of what was that, Fusion, you know, like
Oh
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think that was such a big statement that like it's still here, but it can really like rock with, you know, every dance style still, you know, so, and still adapt to the new music and all that. So yeah, man, I think it's dope, but it's just an exchange, man. I think that's what it is. Like you guys coming in, us like going into your world, you know, like I think that's the big, such a big reason why it's moving the way it's moving, you know.
Yeah. How do you feel like you know, when you're adapting? Because Crump is not tied to the music anymore, right? It is tied to the music in the sense that it's always to music, but I'm saying it's it's not tied to Crump music exclusively. Because
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to all styles, like you could be Buck on a house track, you know,
Right,
whatever track comes on,
right,
you
right.
could Crump. So um, that foundation, like you see certain styles, right? That seem a little more tied to directly to the music, right? And that the music is what innovated the movement, but now you've created a language that can adapt to other circumstances, basically.
Mm.
Yeah. So how do you approach like when does Crump like how do you know what's still Crump and like what's Buck and like because you know it's kind of the same thing that Poppin went through like when you say, "Oh, that's funky," you know,
Mm.
it's but what is funky? It's just kind of something that's somebody that's funky can say that's funky, right? They have the right to call it funky,
Mm.
and it's just a opinion. But like, there's no way of quantifying what funky is. Like, how do you quantify what Buck and Crump is? You know?
Mm. Um, yeah, I think it's knowing the foundation of it for sure. So like knowing the foundations of any style. And I think it's just the same formula but with just different foundations, you know, so our foundations are different, but then the demand of you putting, like, in a sense, like your soul into that foundation is the two key ingredients. So yeah, like you would need to master how to stomp, how to arm swing, how to chest pop, all that, you know, as a base form, and then see how your soul or how your personality can adapt to that. And then from there, you know, yeah, I think the key ingredient to any like magical thing is putting yourself in it, you know, and that could be spoken on by with music, with painting, you know, like everyone can know how to play an instrument, but when you put your soul into it, that's where you're like, all right, that's that funk, or that's that buck that we're talking about. We just want to see you put your own definition or your own spin into these basics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's
Yeah.
like that's the cool thing with Krump is um yeah, I think with any style you have to have these like real like fundamental basics where it's just a few of them. It's not like you ain't got to overload some shit like you got to dance like that. That is foundation is you got to check all these boxes, you know? Like with Krump it's like, you know, stomps, arm swings, jabs, you know. Um all this stuff is adaptable and it gives you enough freedom to put yourself in it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That is I think the most important thing when it comes to like defining a dance form is that it leaves freedom for expression.
Right.
um, I think the issue that popping is coming up with now is, you know, the idea that of popping being an umbrella term versus popping just being one thing, you know.
Mm.
So pop is like more like for me is like a tool, you know. It's like you pop, but you could do anything in pop, you know. So you could wave and pop, you could tut and
Mm.
pop,
Mm.
uh, all those sorts of things. So, but the thing is like tutting got under the umbrella of popping, but necessarily do you have to pop when you tut? So
Mm.
now tutting can come off and be its own style, even though it used to be directly associated with popping.
Mm.
So same with waving, you know,
Yeah.
waving like you have people that are like, you know, like belly dancers or just other type of contemporary movement that does waves and
Right.
doesn't have to be popping. So uh, I think the only foundation for popping is the hit. You know,
Mm.
that's it. Um, but the problem is now when you have these battles under this big umbrella, the umbrella is too big.
Mm.
It's too big, so you kind of like well, shit, you're gonna have like a popper that waves versus a popper that does boogaloo. It's like
Mm.
how you really judge that? You have two masters that go at it, and you're like, well, you
How do you
know,
judge that? Yeah. Yeah.
it's too
Yeah.
biased. You know, the umbrella's too big. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I think I don't think Krump is there yet, but I feel like maybe it is because of you guys. Because
Mm.
like people are coming into Krump and adding your own movements in it. So, you know, some of the movements that some people are doing, like there's this guy like Twin Moody, like he's crazy, and you know, I think he comes from, I don't know what background, I don't want to say and embarrass myself, but it's crazy. So it's kind of hard to judge it from a Krump base, you know. And when he battled like my little homie that was doing strictly Krump stuff, it was such a big debate because it was like, yo, he was doing this and like a little bit more extra stuff that maybe wasn't Krump, you know. So yeah, I think yeah, that's interesting because I mean, when I was watching like popping and waving and all that, and you know, I still had curiosity of like, so what can I do with popping? You know what I mean? Like, can I
Yeah,
still wave? Can I cut? Like, what if I entered a battle? Would that be considered okay? You know what I mean? So, because I
yeah,
love waving too, and I love tutting and stuff like that too. So that's what I don't know. It's interesting, but I like it. I think it's super dope. But as a visitor or as like a person watching from the outside, from person watching inside and like that politics affecting them, I don't know if it's as fun as it is like watching.
yeah. I mean that's the beauty of like of dabbling. You know, like for me, it's kind of like It's really hard because I feel like the whole scene is kind of torn, you know, and there's a lot of mixed information, and there's nobody that's really unifying under one kind of definition of what it should be.
Mm,
And that's the hard part, is that how are you supposed to dance with a question in your mind, you know?
right,
We already got enough questions, right?
right,
We got
right,
enough
right.
questions about whether I feel good doing this, whether it looks dope, but now I'm questioning, you know, when I enter, I think it comes down to the competitions, right?
Mm,
I talked to OG Boardman, and there was there was no question when you saw someone waving and tutting back in the day in the 70s and 80s, you would just say they were popping or they were boogalooing, and
mm,
those were just the terms to describe someone that was doing that style of movement, but there
mm,
was no like foundation or definitions yet.
mm,
So it comes down to like, now it's with the competitions. When you enter a popping competition,
mm.
the judges are trying to narrow down that umbrella so that they can actually, you know, judge it
Right.
properly. So
Yeah.
uh, I think like with what Yaya and Mary are doing is kind of like, it's dope because I think the umbrella needs to be kind of sectioned off, you know,
Mm, mm.
um, because for me, I even thought, what if we segmented dance contests by music? You know,
Mm,
I thought it would be more entertaining because then you have people that do any style,
mm.
um, but it's more, you're drawing people that really love that style of music, because you
Right,
enter a battle, you don't know what you're gonna get. But if
right,
you go like for example R&B, that battle, right?
right, right.
Uh, for me, it's like, okay, well now you got everybody that loves R&B and they're going off.
Facts though.
Yeah, so if you like crump music or you like funk or whatever, just enter that contest. You could crump to funk if you want, you know?
Right, right. That would be
Yeah,
dope. I think that would be dope. I
yeah,
would, I would try that out. I'm not gonna lie. If once this lockdown gets on, I'll probably do like a crump battle with just like popping music.
yeah, man. It'd be dope to see, because like honestly, sometimes I'll do that. I'll watch other dance styles and I'll turn the volume off and I'll put my own music on it.
Hey,
So
I
I
do
like,
that too.
you're like, this could work. This could work. We could do this, you know? And then because yeah, I think it would be really dope, because then you would have, what if, I mean, the original form of like house, what I heard like OGs of LA house talking about was like, well, there was no kind of like house dance, you know. It was just kind of like people came to dance to house music.
Mm,
So whatever they did was house dance, you know. But then later on, it became like codified and like, okay, you know, you have to jack in order to do house.
mm.
Um, and you know, do you have to, you know?
Right, right, right.
Because you can not jack and you could just be like playing the drums with your feet, right? Like a footwork style, and
Right.
you just going off. But yeah, it's an interesting approach, I think, like to maybe throw battles where it was just music based.
Yeah, music is everything, man. And that's the thing that people always say is like it's either the judges or the music that makes you decide like if I want to enter a jam, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
that's such a big part of it. Like, all right, who's the DJ? Ooh, he's a good DJ. Let me enter, you know, so at least I'll have fun. So yeah, I think that's crucial, man. Music is such a crucial thing, man. And yeah, I think if the music is good, any style of dance can enjoy it because yeah, I love all style tournaments, especially if the music is good. Because yeah, I dance to that more or lap to that more than crump music, to be honest. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Crump for me, especially as a beginner, like crump music, I think is really helpful in the
Mm,
beginning, you
mm,
know, to really kind of take that form,
mm.
the postures and the gestures. It's like basically telling you what to do
Right.
almost.
Right.
So, um, but then, yeah, man, like my dream is to adapt it to other music styles, you know,
Yeah.
because there's certain like whether it's like I would love to crump to R&B, you know, like
Yeah.
that's something I want to do, but I just got to figure out how to do it first, you know.
Yeah.
So before I start flipping it, you know.
Yeah, you got to be in the box before you think outside of it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny because back in the day, a lot of like the like our OGs, like even Solo, like he would tell us like when I was 13, 14, was like, hey man, if you really want to get like your hits or like your jab strong, just dance to R&B because the beat is slower. But you know, like that snare is coming because it's slower. So
Mm.
we used to practice the R&B like in the garage. It was hella funny, man. So just the beat,
Yeah, man. Especially when you practice it with a bunch of dudes, like the
it's
R&B is like
hella
hella
funny.
funny. But yeah, I can totally see like even like the delay when you're here and then it's like boom, like
Yeah,
it just has
yeah,
that load up, you know. Um, Shit, yeah. R&B also gives you like a ton of space to play with.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it's that space too. Like if I would dance to Krump music, especially if it's like a main event battle, it's always the slower tracks, you know, because
Mhm.
yeah, I just love knowing the delay and kind of the atmosphere it brings. So yeah, if it's in a session, maybe for entertainment wise or for like footage posting wise, you know, like it'll be the fast type of Krump tracks. But yeah, for me, if I would dance to a Krump beat, it would be like the slower ones. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Music is such a big thing.
That's it, man. So, you know, I'm curious to what you think about where Crump is going or where you want to see it go. And possibly like how the world is gonna look after this, man.
After the quarantine.
Yeah, like, you
Uh,
know, travel is a huge part of what we do.
yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, nobody's really got you know, 100% truthful answer on that, but how would you want to see it go?
I think the direction it's going now, like being more like I said before, it's like that second wave of being in the media again, being used in music videos and movies and TV shows. You know what I mean? I think that will continue to happen because as we speak, like I'm working for or gonna like start working towards like a TV show thingy type of thing. So yeah, I think we're good on that. And I think, but in the culture, I think yeah, just maintaining a lot of stuff we talked about before, which is like qualifications of who should be teaching, maybe like qualification courses, you know, qualification like standards, you know what I mean? And I think that's in play, and that's one thing that I feel like Crump is a bit lucky because the creators are still super involved in it and they're really enforcing it. So I think that's dope, and I think that's gonna happen pretty soon. Like Todd Eyes, he's gonna release like his website again, and as we speak, like he's doing his online courses on there and exclusive content on that website, membership based. And then he was telling me like he wants like certified teachers, you know what I mean, on there, and to just bring up that question, man, because yeah, as I said, I think sharing the culture is everyone's job, but teaching it as a job, you know, is for people that really deserves it and that worked for it. So that's that answer for that question. And then after the quarantine, I think at first everyone's just gonna be excited to session, man.
Yeah, for
and
real, man.
but for me, I'm still gonna lay low because yeah, man, I might not go to a session until like July, to be honest, because I don't want everyone to be all gathered in one place, like 100 people type of thing. And it's just
Yeah,
very like a week just happened, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, that's that whole topic. But yeah, I
yeah.
think for sure people will be excited to see everybody again. Um, and yeah, probably my thing is I just hope what people were doing now can transcend into what's gonna happen later. You know, if that makes sense. Like, we should be using this time like this downtime or whatever you want to call it to better prepare ourselves when we're out in the public, you know. I think if we go back to like our regular routine after this big break, I think a lot of time was wasted on that. I believe, you know. So like a lot of stuff is being online. I think it shouldn't stop because now things are being more in person, you know, because now that people see the benefits of like classes being online, I remember a lot of people were against that. But now that we're forced to do that and actually see the benefits and it's not as bad as people think, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, so I think that shouldn't stop. And that's my fear is like, all right, we're back in person. This online stuff isn't as crucial as it was, you know? So yeah, yeah. And just seeing everyone be like artistic about it, like how they are now, you know, people posting artistic stuff, which I know it would be hard because some people will go back to work, you know. But
Yeah.
still, man, I just hope that whatever we've been doing here like transcends, and like even this like this little not little but like these interviews I think is super dope. So you know, and I bro around this time everybody's live right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's hella dope,
Everybody's
man.
going
So
live.
so
Yep.
I think yeah, we shouldn't stop that. That's just my thing that I'm worried about because it just shows, man. It shows it's not that bad. And yeah, I hear so much about like online and how bad it is and how you know what I mean, like all those type of talks. But come on,
Yeah.
for the past like 6 weeks or whatever, it's been making us survive and even think creatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, these interviews are blessed, man, because I feel like these are conversations that I get to have with people like yourself, man. But I'm really happy I get to share that with people, you know, because
Right.
there's just not everybody's gonna be able to have that same conversation with you, you know,
Right.
like especially I think with people like yourself, it becomes hard, especially when you're traveling a lot, and
Mm,
I've experienced it a little bit, but to
mm,
be able to connect with everybody on a personal level is like, man, it's a lot of work, man. It's
right.
like it just drains you. So I think it's so dope to be able to bring that to people because, you know, you become when you start to travel and become famous, you start to become a symbol rather than a person, and everybody's just like, you know, you can't blame them because they're a fan, but
Right.
at the same time, it's like I still want to get this information to them, you know.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
and especially to the people that may not be able to even make it to LA
Right.
or any place that you go, you know. There's people like you know, people in other countries that can't afford to even go 20 minutes from their house.
Right.
So it's like this is even the little information that we share and your perspectives, man, it's so important. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this all pans out. But I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful, and I like actually. I think our scene is gonna become more efficient too with the online stuff.
Mm,
I think the scene's gonna grow. It's gonna reach more people, and I
mm.
think eventually when we can start getting back to the physical world, which I hope happens. There's going to be more people with good information out there, and we won't have to
Right.
repeat we won't have to repeat ourselves every workshop in the beginning, you know.
Right. And that's the
Like
thing, man. Like so much information has been exchanged. I mean, for me, and I'm sure for you, like throughout just this whole quarantine. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I think it shouldn't just stop after we go back to like our regular lives type of thing.
yeah, no, I sure hope it doesn't just go back to regular, man.
Right.
I'm trying to build momentum right now. Like I'm
Right.
trying to I've been in the lab and learning, but like this is the time when, you know, well, it's a time in my life where I'm, you know, I'm 31 now. I
Mm.
had my birthday in quarantine, man. I'm like, I gotta celebrate that shit when I get out. But
Right.
uh, yeah, man, I think now is the time to really pinpoint what you value and make those moves.
That's a fact, man. I think that's one thing that I had to learn being yeah, in quarantine, and just a lot of stuff leading up to it. Like when Enforcer died, it just really hit me like life is hella short, you know, because he was just 30, and it hit me really hard because he was one of my mentors too, when I got on SK. So yeah, man, I think just everything like, yeah, just went from there, and then this whole quarantine thing happened, and I was in the Philippines when you know, this was starting to get big, and like my layover was in Taiwan, so I was like, yo, I'm about to get this disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, within like just a few weeks, I had to really think like what's essential, like what's valuable. And one big thing that I've been talking to a lot of people is I love the street culture that I'm from, but to kind of apply that into real life, you know what I mean, is really dangerous. Because I mean, like the most popular one is like, oh, I want all my homies to like kind of rise up with me type of thing, you know, or like live with the homies, or you know what I mean, it's always the homies first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we grow up, it's like, man, like the homies are, maybe if there's some drama, the homies are gonna leave you. The homies maybe have their own dreams, like they want to start a family and stuff. So that's like just an example of like growing up in the streets and our dreams in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like staying in the city where I'm from, type of thing. Like, and I gotta be true to it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
kind of trivial, man. So yeah, I hear you, bro. When it's about like really thinking about the stuff that is really valuable. Because yeah, I'm 28 now, and um yeah, it's coming in fast, bro. And it's not even, for me, I look at it like it's not even about age. It's about like anything can happen at any moment, you know. So
That's real.
experiencing a lot like with death and stuff, and especially with this virus thing that's going on, it's like, all right, like what's really important, and let me at least like pursue that. And what if it happens, or if like, you know, at least I know like I was pursuing something meaningful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, man, we gotta make these moves, man. There's no just a reminder of like no tomorrow is guaranteed, and it's it's important, man. Life is fragile, and we take for granted when we haven't had any, like, we've had adversities, but like when it comes to like thinking about death, like, and it's in front of your face, it's always a reminder, whenever it happens, it's always a reminder of like, okay, it's time to take this a little more, be grateful, and then make those moves that you've been putting off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like grow up in a sense.
yeah, so to end it with this, man, what do you think is, we talked about a lot about dance, but how do you feel like dance can transcend into other skills in life, and like, what do you believe is like the true value and essence of dance?
mm. I think dance, for a lot of people, it's like, for me, like from experience, and even like experiencing a lot, like knowing a lot of like great dancers, is it's a good start and your good foundation of like, it's kind of like a tree. So it's like your foundation is dance, but in dance you're gonna maybe fall in love with making music, or fall in love with like organizing events, or you know what I mean. So yeah, for me is like people, you know. So that's why I really went into like my university and got deep into like, you know, the right way, or the best way of like learning about like my religion and stuff, and using it to help people and to like help myself type of thing. So but just more than that, like I'm even getting interested in like video making, because I want to make my art not just for battle. You know, like I want to do dance moves to make it a bit more like a stamp in time, instead of like, oh, that was just a cool battle. I want to produce more work, like, yeah, just for like more concept videos, but with a deeper meaning behind it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's how dance it really helped build the foundation to like to where I could play with my curiosity, but always fall back on the foundation. Because yeah, when you like, if I'm getting into videos, they're not going to be as great as my dance is now, you know. And that's the biggest mistake people think is like, oh, I'm such a great dancer, then I'm gonna run an event and it's gonna be the best, it's gonna be the same quality as my dancing. But
Yeah,
people
yeah,
get, people get shocked because it's like, yo, like I'm such a good dancer and even I have this following, like what, like, you know. And I seen people like that and like, no, like you're still starting over, but you have the foundation to fall on. So yeah, and that's what I'm learning too. And you know, even learning other styles as well, like from Krump is my foundation, but I love certain music that kind of sounds like popping music, where it has like that big, steady, like snare effect. You know what I mean?
that boom bap. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
So yeah, that's all it is, man. I think I'm happy enough to have a foundation, which is Krump, that I could always fall back on. But then now I can really answer the questions of my curiosity. Like, okay, I'm interested in helping more people out with their lives, and I'm interested in video making, or I'm interested in like educating people like through teaching. So yeah, and that's in itself in a journey and a way I could like start over, you know, and still be human.
Yeah, man, that's shit. Yeah, that says it all right there. Because for me, it's kind of yeah, I think that's something with dance is that it teaches us how to learn, you
Right,
know, and we have that launching pad, like you said, with like something that you're already good at.
right,
So that's not saying that you're going to be good at everything. It's just saying that you figured out a way to become good at something.
right.
So that's what you're gonna have to do with everything in life.
Yeah,
It's like it's a learning process. Like it just doesn't cross over automatically, you know. Um, it may cross over easier with similar things, you know, like if you're learning another dance style, you're already a high level mover, so
right,
that's gonna be you're gonna have a quicker learning process than somebody starting from scratch. But
right,
if you're learning like computer programming, you might be a little like,
right.
well, shit. You're gonna take a little while, but the same discipline,
Exactly.
uh, same mental capacity, you know, you're gonna be approaching it with it. And that's the cool thing about dance is we can just grow our capacity to learn things. So,
Exactly.
yeah, man, shit, that's dope. Yeah, man. Well, I don't want to hog all your time, bro, but thank you so much, man,
Thank
for
you,
coming
bro.
on. Yeah, man.
Bro.
Hopefully we can get you back on here. I still got some questions for you too. So,
Hell yeah.
all right,
Anytime,
brother.
bro. All right, bro.
Stay well, man.
Thank you.
Much love. Peace.
You too.